Greetings and salutations, everybody. Right now, it is Snowmageddon hitting, and I want to make another video talking about 22 long rifle and just why this is kind of neglected and overlooked. And perhaps your family's uh, system and or survival system, that kind of thing. City bitty thing right here. Number one will always be training. I'm about to review this new Derya TM22. This is the Flash 18. Looks really awesome. Flip up sights. They have 5 different models of this. I could put a bipod or a light underneath it there. Threaded, 18-inch ballistics, very ergonomic, that kind of thing. So it got me thinking about 22. I do not recommend 22 handguns for self-defense. Let's just get that out of the way. However, I think you are neglectful if a 22 is not fitting in your system. Number one, it's always about being able to train other people, which is utterly important. So if you are grandpa or if you are dad and you got kids, you train your wife up on a 22. You train your kids up on a 22. Maybe you train your neighbors up or that person you met on the range. You train them up on a 22 long rifle pistol. It's cheap and it's lightweight. It is cheap. I could buy a whole bunch of this ammo. It's cheap and it's lightweight. Okay. It's quiet and has almost no recoil. Okay. So for new shooters, it's the loud bang and the heavy recoil that makes them lean back and do all the funky things that they do and all of that. You should be teaching stance and then grip and then trigger control while exhaling before you even worry about sights. You mentioned the front sight. I have a whole rant about that. Okay. But a 22, if you think you may ever have to bug out with somebody, maybe get to higher ground, and please heed my words. If there's sudden pull shifting, and I know it's not usually sudden, but sometimes it goes a little faster than other times throughout history, and there's tsunamis, and there's flooding, you might need to go to higher ground as just one potential thing there might be. As I said, Snowmageddon's happening right now. Don't know how bad it's going to be. It's just hitting here right now. Is it going to turn power off? Is it going to do all those things? Could it last weeks? I don't know. I just know that it took me 2 hours in the grocery store the other night, and I got the last 2 things of eggs. Okay. And a few days before that, more importantly, a level 4 geomagnetic storm hit. A level 4, the worst in 20 years. Had things been different the way it works, that if we were not shielded as well as we just happened to be at the time, life as we know it would have already went down to without rule of law times, WROL. That would have already happened a few days ago. We were extremely lucky that did not happen. It was the worst level 4 geomagnetic storm in 20 years. Okay. So between weather and that and paid dissenters that might also be planning to piggyback off of a geostorm or horrible weather, bad things, bad times can happen. Okay, so let's say you have your centerfire rifle and your 9mm pistol, because that's what most people are thinking of for those kinds of things. Let's say you have a group of 4 or 5. Maybe it's your neighbors or your best buddy or it's your family, whatever. Let's say you have a group of, 3 to 5 people that are all going to have to bug out to get to higher ground or outside the city where riotings happen or whatever the SHTF situation happens to be. And like I said, they might piggyback off of each other, and maybe all the power outages weren't really caused by the storm. Maybe they're caused by bad actors from bad places that are already here, and others that are paid off by evil, bad people. Okay. So if you have someone in your party that is the weaker link because they're very young, or they're very small, or they're elderly and frail, they can still, this is 4.85 pound rifle with very, 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 very lightweight ammo. meaning they can have these little medicine bottle bombs filled up with 100 rounds or so. I haven't actually counted, but a whole lot, where these itty bitty 50-round packets right here easily go into pockets, and maybe even one of these big bad boys here go into 500 rounds into the backpack / 3-day pack. This video, if you don't have a 3-day pack at home and a 3-day pack in every vehicle, as well as medical gear in every vehicle, you are doing things wrong. I've got 2 of my 3-day plus survival packs. The nice Vertex one stays in the house. The cheap one stays in the vehicle. And, very, very, very important stuff. If I have time to grab this good one from the house to bug out, this pistol, this 22 pistol, will be going in one of the side pockets with extra magazines and extra ammo. Why? Because the weight is not that much. This is like, I think at 22.5 ounces is 24.5 ounces. Taurus 942. This is a Walther PPQ. I wish I had a TX22, or probably better yet, everyone in your family gets a TX22C compact as a trainer. That is what I would recommend. Is everyone in the family, maybe dad gets the full size and everyone else gets the TX22 compact. As a trainer, and because it's extremely lightweight and even smaller and lighter than this, the TX22 compact with larger magazines. These are 10-round YouTube compliant magazines. Because of that, it can easily go in the backpack and be less weight, and or it can go in the front pocket, a TX22 compact, and a little DeSantis Nemesis or Remora or something like that in a front pocket. And if you had to go through a checkpoint, it can be crotched. And most people don't grab the crotch when they're doing searches. I do armed security. And we are not grabbing your dinglings. There's just too many lawsuits, even on a federal level. So you're really not getting very good in there. So this could actually, I could crotch this and get the shoes. But if you were going through a checkpoint, or you needed to check in one of those evil stadium type places because you had to for whatever reason, or something certain agencies have done in the past and things like that, you can crotch the 22. It's not a lot of weight. This and 2 or 3 extra magazines is not a lot of weight. Like I said, you throw a couple of these pill bottles, and yeah, they get shaken up and you might get more misfires if they ride in a bag or in a car and that kind of thing. So keep that in mind. But you can fill it to the brim, and then to minimize that, and these little 50-round packs are really, really good. Very, very quiet. If you have a centerfire rifle, but the weaker link in the party has one of these, and I need to hunt, I need to shoot some small critters, you can do it with this. And if it's just 2 shots, they're probably not going to be able to locate you. If you do 2 shots of centerfire, and especially once you do 3, if they're more trained people, they're going to be able to have a general idea of your location, and depending on the situation, that might be bad. Couple 22s, something like this, or especially subsonic, even if you don't have a can 22, the very low rapport. So what I'm saying is, if you got a party and everyone has their centerfire rifle and maybe their 9mm Glock mag pistol, that's probably the best idea you could have. But maybe a couple 22 long rifle pistols should be in your party. As a trainer and a quiet thing and a backup gun, I would recommend, this is pretty good, but I would recommend the TX22 compact as a cheap trainer. And, even if everyone had a cheap 9mm pistol and a cheap 22 pistol, and some of the weaker links had a 22 long rifle, you are good to go. Now, this is an 8-shot low recoil revolver, maybe good for grandpa. If he's a wheel gun guy, but actually this is kind of heavy, and you don't have the reloads that like a pistol does. 10-round magazines, the TX22 has been proven and reliable. I just don't have one. I've always hoped that I would get one, and I just haven't gotten the right sale when I had the right amount of money, that kind of thing. But 3-day pack in the car, emergency water and food in the car, at least some power bars, Pop-Tarts, that kind of thing. In the vehicle, I do keep a couple jugs of water in the car, in the vehicle. I have water filtration bottle in the car, in the vehicle, that I can put in the side of this if I grab this one and throw this in with a couple magazines. And besides maybe those couple centerfire rifles you're going to grab, and that main pistol you're going to have on, having the 22 pistol makes a lot of sense. Certainly this is a topic that other people have covered. I think I haven't done a bag video because, you know, you can look at Paul Harrell for that and other sources on 3-day packs and things like that. But you'd better have some clothes and some kind of protein bars, power bars, maybe a few cans. You better have extra clothes, especially extra wool socks in here, and then extra under socks. I like to do that. Some people think that sweats too much, but I put a thick cotton and then a wool sock on top kind of thing. Maybe some underwear would be nice, you know, if you've been trudging in the same ones for 4 days, that kind of thing, because a 3-day pack might get extended to 7 days. And you better be willing to look at that. I'm not the biggest survival expert in the world, but I think the way things are going, it is important to have stuff like this in your car, a 3-day pack, have some water, food, that kind of thing. And I think a 22 long rifle should absolutely be in your system, that if I have time, you know, if we got a party of 4 and we got 4 big rifles, or we got 3, the weakest link has one of these, or we have an extra 22 long rifle, maybe at least one 12 gauge, maybe a semi-auto 12 gauge, and not only for hunting purposes, but for aerial defense, drone purposes. You know, a semi-auto 12 gauge might be a good idea. A couple 22 long rifles might be a good idea. Everyone, just as a trainer, any way to get better at shooting, owning a 22 long rifle pistol, especially if ammo-gated times happen again, and ammo goes up in crazy prices. I got this at the start of 2020 because I was still able to train, and if I did 100 rounds of this and 20 rounds of 9mm or something like that, I was still keeping my very perishable skills. I find rifle is not perishable to me. I know how to do sight alignment. It's not perishable. I do it 2 or 3 times a year. I'm not saying I'm an expert, but, you know, I'm okay. And but pistol skills, only having your hands or hand versus 3-4 points of contact, are a very different thing. So anyway, guys, just something to think about. Let me know what you think of 22 long rifle down below. I would never ever recommend it in a pistol as your primary defense system. In a rifle, maybe in a, you know, with at least a 15-round YouTube compliant magazine a year. Maybe, you know, if it was a recoil sensitive person and they had very good quality ammo that proved reliable in the system, whether it was this high velocity or maybe CCI, mini mags, maxi mags, velocitors, something that proved reliable in that system, and you cleaned and lubed it often and that kind of thing. Maybe, but it's certainly not my first choice. But if I had the choice with someone that can't keep up with the rest of us because they can't carry 6 loaded mags on them and 1 in the gun with a loadout of 210 rounds of heavy ammo, but I can have them easily carry this less than 5-pound, 4.85-pound rifle with a few extra magazines, some of these in various pockets, and one of these in the backpack, that could come in really handy for quiet hunting purposes, for shooting small game, squirrels and small critters and whatnot. I think it is awfully important. And, you know, maybe your primary gets taken off you, or you fall down and it gets lost. At least you'd have a backup pistol and something that's lightweight and crotchable. Again, I would recommend everyone in your party, if, you know, I don't got a family, that kind of thing, but I would have some TX22 compacts and, you know, maybe one full size. And that would a cheap budget way of training and arming everybody and being good to go. And, you know, if you had to loan it to grandma that can't handle recoil, that you could take her out back, shoot a magazine real quiet, and she, you know, she's not going to have a problem with the recoil or the rapport. So something to think about. Let me know if you got any better thoughts or something I didn't think of, and thoughts in just general survivability and your car and the weather. I keep extra clothes in my car like crazy that I can layer up blankets and clothes and pile them up to survive. And that's awfully important too, as this Snowmageddon apocalypse is hitting. So let me know what you guys think. Please always thumbs up, share, subscribe on all 2A channels, like and comment. Always drop a comment. You're getting free entertainment from the smaller channels that bust their butt. We lose money. We don't make money. If you don't want them all to vanish and you think 2A rates are important, you need to comment on all the channels, guys. All right? Check out my Paul Harrell tribute playlist, and again on 3-day packs and 22 long rifle. Check out all the stuff that he did as well. Thank you, guys. Stay safe. I'll catch you on the next one.